I look like I lost a fight with my curling iron this morning. Never had to worry about this before. But for those of you watching on the live stream, Real Talk 99.5 TV on the YouTube. Yes, I'm very well aware. Curl's out of control over here. You don't have this problem. Hey, now, it's not fair.
No, I don't. My headphones mess my hair up, though.
You do use some styling product over there.
Hairspray.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, my middle child, oldest son, has got my curly hair. You wouldn't know I have curly hair to look at it because I've straightened it for so many years that I think it finally just gave up. It like relented. It's like there will be no curls. You will have waves that are ridiculous.
You should dye it purple.
I should dye it purple. Unfortunately, I'm too happy for that. I enjoy my life too much to dye my hair purple. I did, and you didn't know me back when I think before I started because we just met recently. I dyed my hair from the age of 20 to about the age of 40.
Man.
And then during COVID, I gave up and I was like, you couldn't get a salon open and there was no way I was coloring my own hair. But my gray started coming in when I was in my 20s. And not a little bit, like not the, oh, I've got a stray hair, I plucked one the other day, like full on. If you're on the live stream, you can see this. My hair, especially under the front, is silver. And I colored it forever, just kept it all dark. And then kind of just was like, you know what? I want to see what it looks like and grew it out. And now, every now and again, I think, okay, I'm going to color it all dark again. But no, it has never been a color outside of the outside of the traditional. This is what would come out of my head, kind of thing.
I don't think you need to.
No.
Looks good.
I did do. There was a time back. Let's see. It wasn't the 90s because I was in college. So like 2000, 2001, where I cut it short. Do you remember the movie Sweet Home Alabama?
Oh yeah.
Was Reese Witherspoon. She had this like short kind of pixie at the end cut, and I did that. I chopped all my hair off and colored it like an auburn red, and that did not last very long. I was
Didn't like it, eh?
God did not intend for me with my olive skin to be a redhead. It was not a good look. So then it's been dark the rest of the time, but yeah, I don't know what. Just I was looking at your hair, but trying to fix this on the camera. It's a whole thing over here. This is a whole new world. Although, and I don't even have the YouTube open. I've been having the YouTube open so that I can read the comments because you guys can like comment since I don't have the text line. You can comment over on the YouTube. I now have that open. So if you do, if you are one of the people who watch a live stream, which not a lot of people do, looking at it, it's there. It's open. All right. I got to talking about education and the woke University of Alabama magazines, they shut those down. The left screamed their head off. There was actually even a conservative group that was like, you can't shut this down. Freedom of speech. Wah. And I'm like, can you please get these people a constitution? Like, nowhere is it guaranteed if a publication starts and it turns into crap, does the college have to keep it going just because it was once started? Like, all things fail. Like, how many people, what was the interest in this magazine with the garbage they were printing? It's not a imposing against one's free speech if they're saying, hey, you wrote for this magazine, now you have the opportunity to come write for one that is for everyone instead of these identity-based politics. So if you are a UA person, big shout out to the university for making that tough decision. They were like, we don't think this is okay under DOJ. And then crazy screamed their head off, racist, sexist, bigot, which is basically, by the way, the left's whole argument against us these days. If you are for sanity, if you are, thank you, James. James said your hair is great. If you are pro sanity, then you are obviously full of hate. That's the truth. That's what the left wants you to believe. Okay, so talked about the universities. University of Auburn, they actually have made some strides, especially following 1819, my investigation over there. And they made some strides and are trying to get their teachers on the same page as common sense Americans, as Alabama state law and federal guidance, where they're saying that If you are a teacher at Auburn University, you have to be following the law. You can't have any of this woke nonsense. Especially the stuff that has absolutely no idea with no indication in the subject matter you're teaching. I've got students in classes right now that are saying, "Okay, I've got this crazy teacher, but I'm afraid of what's going to happen to my grade if we write about them now, or if I go public about them now." So I've got a pin in some stories because I'm like, let's let this kid get out of this class, but then we're going to expose. So if you've got a kid in college, on the bottom of every story I write on 1819 News is my email address, and you can feel free to email me a syllabus or a textbook name, a professor name, all the information you can give me that'll send me down a path to outing these people, because the universities are actually doing something now. This goes back to what Susan DeBose said they're looking at doing, making sure that the teachers are trained to teach kids to read, to teach kids to write, to teach kids basic geography, world history, US history without an agenda. It's shocking. But you end up with these teachers, these young adults who want to be teachers, going to these colleges across the country, and they're turning into little indoctrination factories. Leftist mind rot being taught as if it's fact. And then they get into the classrooms, and this is where our kids go off the funny train, go into believing things that aren't true. Uh, I strongly encourage people to homeschool. I wish I could homeschool all three of mine. I only homeschool one at this point. Speaking of which, I think she's in her French class as we speak. But I highly encourage this. Governor Kay Ivey, in her state of the state, said the state will be funding additional CHOOSE Act money. There was a crazy long wait list for CHOOSE Act money, which allows parents the opportunity to opt out of their failing school. And it doesn't matter why it's failing. It doesn't even matter why you want to leave. A lot of parents leave because the schools have a terrible literacy rate. They have teacher turnover. They have administrator turnover. They have a lack of resources. They have dated textbooks and technology. Whatever the reason is, it's your reason. And the state is expanding the school choice through the CHOOSE Act. So if you are interested in your family and your kids going to different things than the public school, private school, or homeschool, now's the opportunity to get in there and apply, because the governor and the lawmaker said they're going to fund that. In addition, on the school choice, Governor Ivey signed an executive order on, I guess it was Friday, confirming Alabama's participation in federal school choice program. On Friday, the governor signed executive order number 742, which expanding school choice in the state of Alabama by participating in the newly created Federal Education Freedom Tax Credit Program. Whew, that's a mouthful. Also known as the Federal Scholarship Tax Credit. This puts the state into this program and authorizes the Alabama Department of Revenue to administer the program, including certification of eligible participating scholarship programs within the state. Now, this first line is actually laughable because it says, for over a decade, Alabama has been the trailblazer in offering parents and students options to access and afford the best quality education. Lies! Lies! We were way behind the curve on education savings accounts. Don't rewrite history. Talking about rewriting history, apparently it's not just the left who does it, although arguably Ivey is a Democrat with an R behind her name, but a Democrat all the same. So that's shocking. Beginning with the Alabama Accountability Act passed in 2013, 2 years ago, the CHOOSE Act. So from 2013 to 2 years ago, our legislature did barely anything but twiddle their pretty little thumbs when it came to school choice. But now we've got the federal government, we've got the president, and we've got a more education-friendly legislature. I think we're going to see more. I love everything about this. But if you have kids, look into the CHOOSE Act. Look into some of these federal programs. They really could be make or break for our students. All right, I am going to take a break here. We'll switch gears. We'll turn to other topics besides education, which I could rant about for the last 45 minutes, but I won't do that to y'all. I'll open up the phone lines, 545-9950, if you want to get in on the conversation about the leftists and their anti-ICE protest, about school choice, about the moderate squishes we have sent to Montgomery through our legislature, any of the things, President Trump's endorsement of Barry Moore. Back in a second. You're listening to April Marie, fill in for Andrew. Well, good afternoon, everyone. April Marie here, filling in for Andrew. Got a couple of messages today uh, reflecting on the fact it is also MLK Day. One message said, on this day that we honor a man, MLK, who used Christianity and peaceful protest to end a horrible thing, and we as Birmingham residents still carry the scars of the 16th Street church bombing, uh, which was carried out by extremists like the anti-ICE folks. It's now okay for anti-ICE protesters to go attack a place of worship. Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself. I tell you what, the anti-ICE protesters who went into that church, they should be condemned in the strongest of terms from everybody, left, right, or center. It's absolutely unacceptable to walk into a place of worship and do what they did, to harass people, to terrorize a congregation. It's wrong, and we got to keep saying it's wrong, and we got to push for every single person to recognize this. This is not just an escalation of the crazy we've seen on the scene there, but it's an escalation against our First Amendment rights in general. All right, we're going to Dexter. Hey, Dexter, thanks for holding. What's up?
Hi, this is Martin Luther King Day.
I
I'm
do.
I'm out here watching my youngins run up and down the driveway, riding in a whatever they call that red wagon,
Oh yeah, I love those
red
things.
rider. Got three of them in it, and one of them dragging them down the thing, and they running wide open with a pocket knife, and then them flipped over three times. Thank God nobody's broke their neck. But I was thinking about when Mr. King was shot the night after. I was working at downtown Memphis. If you ever been to Memphis, downtown is not a really good place to be. Down by the river, loading trucks for potato chips and Golden Rule barbecue potato chips. And they shut down work and said, "Y'all go home." About, I guess it was 1 o'clock in the morning. We worked the evening shifts because I was still going to school, and I'd pull an 8-hour shift and go to school during the day. And my car broke down. And
Hmm,
there I was on Hollywood Avenue, if you know where that
I
is.
do.
And it was terrible, I think. And I started walking. And next thing I knew, cops pulled up and said, "What are you doing, boy?" "They're trying to burn the town down." I said, "I'm just trying to get home." And they drove me out to Raleigh.
Oh
At
wow.
that time, I was living out there with my mom and dad. But 80 miles an hour on Jackson Avenue going towards Raleigh, and not stopping for any lights and just running wide open with a pocket knife. It scared me half to death. I was so glad to get to my home, and they let me out at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh
You
wow.
know, but it's like one of them near misses at the time.
What year was
You
that?
think about. Oh Lord, I couldn't tell you right now. It's been so long ago, the year. But it was when they shot him. The night after he shot him,
Mm.
they shot him. I thought it was in April
Um.
for some reason, but I couldn't tell you the day right off the top of my head. But
Well.
I was thinking
Crazy.
about that.
Crazy time.
Hey, don't run that into my truck. Oh
Dex.
my God, you dented the fender, didn't you?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
that's.
Dexter.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
we're gonna let you handle
Good
that.
thing they had their helmet on. It wasn't busted like old watermelon. All right, talk to you
You
later.
you
Bye.
take care. You keep those kids safe. Dexter's got a time. Look, it's a holiday. The kids are home. Who knows what trouble they're up to? As I mentioned at the start of the show, mine are over there enjoying their day off until I get home, and then they've got a dentist appointment for a teeth cleaning, which oddly the baby loves. I don't know why the baby really loves to go to the dentist. It's a strange thing. I guess there could be stranger things, but that's where we are in my life. Yeah, it is a day of looking back at and here's what's crazy about a lot of these leftist protesters, and it's not just the anti-ice ones. For years and years, starting, and you look at the BLM protests, these yahoos thought they were some sort of civil rights activist. We're gonna burn down your city. We're gonna burn down our city. We're gonna terrorize people, and we're gonna talk about we're the same as the civil rights activists. People wanted to put George Floyd, a habitually violent felon on all sorts of drugs. They wanted to put him up as some kind of martyr. It's pure insanity happening right before our eyes. They want us to ignore his autopsy report. They want us to ignore video footage from the whole incident. It's been a very weird and wild ride. To the caller's point earlier about do the small things matter? They do. They do, because the small things become the big things. And this rewriting of history, um, what this rewriting of history is just absolute nonsense. Did I blow my 115, or did I take that? Carrie, I'm losing track of my. I'm good. Look at that. Woohoo! All right. I thought I missed it. I thought I missed a break here. Every now and again, I'll do that, and I'll just talk myself right through a break. All right. What do we think? We're gonna go to Christopher, but Christopher, I've got my finger on a button over here. Let's see what you're talking about today. What you
I'm
got?
going to talk about. Hi. What do you mean you have your finger on the button?
I learned from the guys to keep an eye on potentially trolling calls. What are you calling to talk about?
That's that's horrible. Who would do that?
Uh,
I just wanted to. I just wanted to let all your listeners know. I just picked up my mail. Thank you, President Trump. I got a $2,000 tariff check rebate and a $3,000 check for Doge. Thank you, President Trump. So everyone should pick up their mail today. Those checks should be there. Why are you laughing?
Christopher, the mail's not running today.
Oh, well, this was my mail from Saturday because I didn't pick it up.
Okay, all right.
That's great.
You have thoughts on
Thank you, Chris.
do you have thoughts on the ICE anti-ICE protesters walking into a church this weekend?
Yeah, that was horrible. Almost as horrible as that family of 6 driving back from a basketball game, and they threw a flashbang into their car and also hit them with tear gas. That's awesome, isn't it? I bet all 6 members of that family were murderers and rapists.
I don't know what family of 6 you're talking about, Christopher, but I tell you what.
Why don't you go on? Why don't you look it up on your next break?
I will
What,
look
do you
it up.
think I'm making this stuff up?
No, I will absolutely. I will absolutely look it up.
Did you see like the 100-year-old Cambodian guy?
You
Did
look
you
at
see the 100-year-old Cambodian guy that they dragged out of his house today in his boxers, but they were nice. They gave him a little blanket to put over him, and they took him. They detained him for 2 hours, only to figure out, oh, gee, he's a citizen.
What do you think of the?
Wasn't that nice?
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. So our ICE agents out there are in fact working to get the worst of the worst out of our country. They are working. They are putting their life on the line, and they are dealing with impossible, next to impossible circumstances with these protesters blocking roads and these protesters literally, in one case, in the case of Renee Good, on video trying to run over an officer. This is terrorizing and doxing officers, trying to find them. I'll tell you what, I will never defend when law enforcement makes a mistake, but I will tell you 99.9% of our law enforcement are good guys trying to do the right thing, and I will stand with them all day, every day, without a second thought. I'll tell you that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I will, and I'll pull up this Minnesota woman who was tear gassed. We'll see what was going on with that. Look, officers are not perfect, but I'll stand with them. Back in a second. I don't know what I'm listening to. This is not 80s, 90s country, Carrie.
No, you're right. It's not.
I've come a long way from Dolly Parton. For those of you who didn't hear me say it earlier, Dolly Parton's birthday today.
This is that Gen X music that, we're terrible people.
It's very angry. I have to be in a very specific mood to be flipping the channels and have this come on and not turn it immediately. Like, this is I'm really angry music. All right, so to the last caller, and for those who are curious, there was in fact a family of 6, including children, who were trying to get home from their child's basketball game in Minneapolis. There you go. On last Wednesday, it was a family of 8 with 6 children. They had to pull over. Why did they have to pull over? Because protesters had parked their cars on the road. Jackasses had parked their cars. I hope that was an okay word. I feel like I've heard Leland say worse. Have parked their cars on the road, impeding traffic. Whose fault is it that that this innocent family ended up with tear gas in their car? It is the protesters' fault. So the protesters were, in fact, not just peacefully protesting, not exercising their First Amendment rights. What they were doing were they were out there harassing and terrorizing ICE agents. Going so far, just before the smoke was, before they had the tear gas cans just put out, what they did was they were shooting fireworks off at the ICE agents. They were assaulting them, hurling things at them, and shooting fireworks off towards them, which in turn made the ICE agents, in self-defense, start rolling out canisters of tear gas. One canister got underneath a car. Who knows how? Really, who knows how? And then that's when the family ended up tear gassed. Whose fault was this? If you say anybody but the protesters, you're an idiot. If your answer is anybody but the protesters, you're an idiot. These guys are blocking the roads. They're assaulting law enforcement agencies. And here's the thing. These aren't peaceful protests anymore. These are not constitutionally protected protests. This is an innocent family. And there have been countless innocent families caught in the middle of the absolute ridiculous assault on people trying to carry out their lawful duties. You know what would happen if the protesters went home, if they stopped this, or if they stood on the side of the road and peacefully protested like the Constitution allows? You know what happened? ICE agents could conduct their business, they could do what they came there to do, and they could leave, and they could move on to the next city. But no, you've got a whole bunch of a-holes out there protesting in the streets, blocking traffic. That's what Renee Good was doing. She was trying to block the ICE officers, but she was blocking all the traffic. Local traffic, emergency traffic. It doesn't matter to these people. It doesn't matter. They don't care about those around them. Do you think for 1 second that the people instigating this, the people peeing in bottles and throwing that at cops, the people launching fireworks care about that family? Absolutely not. You are deluded if you think they care about that people. It's collateral damage to them. These communities that are being harmed, the people trying to go in a hotel and having things banged outside their windows all night, every night, collateral damage to a bunch of heathens who don't care about uniting this country, don't care about safety of individuals, don't care about the, and Carrie's got the clip I was going to play. Don't care about the safety and what ICE is trying to do. I've got the clip. We'll play it in a little bit before I get done with before I get off today. But we got the clip of ICE agents saying, "Do you know who we're trying to go arrest right now? Do you know what kind of search warrant or arrest warrant we're trying to execute? It's on someone who is a child sex trafficker or child sexual abuser. This is who the left is protecting, and they are willing, more than willing, to put innocent children, toddlers and young children trying to get home from a basketball game in harm's way. That's what they want. This is absolutely disgusting, and I'm glad, Christopher, or whatever your real name is, that you brought this to my attention. Yet another example of the self-serving nature of these absolute yahoos protesting ICE. Now I'm looking up at my TV screen at the protest in Iran. You want to talk about fighting for freedom? That's not what these people across America fighting ICE are doing. All these yahoos out there in the No Kings protest. Congratulations, you were successful. No king. Oh wait, you want to cheer on a Venezuelan dictator? Like the hypocrisy, it runs so deep. Absolutely so deep. All right. So throwing that out there, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. These ICE protesters should be tracked down. They should be prosecuted. And just like you're prosecuted if you're sitting in a getaway car when a crime is being committed, if you're standing around egging on someone, shooting fireworks at ICE officials, you should be prosecuted. They're the protesters who instigated and attacked the ICE officers, causing the ICE officers to use these tactics. They should be charged. They should absolutely be held responsible. I clicked on 3 different stories about this case. The federal government, they said that the car with the family was obviously not the target, and that the federal agents knew that that they were protecting themselves from the ongoing assault against them. Absolutely basic insanity is what it is. I could just ugh. I tell you what. All right, we got Hippie on the line. Hey, Hippie. Well, maybe I didn't push the right button. Let's see. This is what we got Carrie here to help with. All right. Hi, Hippie.
Ah, there you are. Well, where did the people in their vehicle get attacked at?
It
I
was
didn't hear about this.
so. This is in Minneapolis. The family was
Oh, up there where all the where
So
the crazies are.
yeah, so the family was on their way home from a activity for the child, and these anti-ICE protesters blocked the roads and were attacking the law enforcement officers. So the law enforcement officers used tear gas, and a canister went underneath the vehicle that was blocked by the ICE officers, or the ICE protesters. These
Protesters.
protesters don't give a crud about
Oh,
what the
they need
damage
to
they're
be
doing to
paid.
these communities.
And then them folks that went in that church, they need to be put under the jail after they've been beaten.
Well, tell me how you really feel. That is probably one of the most egregious violations of the rights of individuals I've seen in a really long time.
That's bad.
Oh, it's absolutely bad. And there's no anybody. Goes right up on there. Check a box, yes or no. Do you understand the severity of what these actors did, of what these protesters did in going to a church and disrupting a service and harassing and screaming at and doing all these things? I'm watching the guy who organized the protest. DOJ has said they are going to seek to prosecute him, and he's having a little pitching a little fit online. This is a very clear test. Do you believe this guy belongs in jail? Yes or no? And if someone says no, they're not a sane person who cares anything about our country.
No, they're doing it because they get away with it.
They do, and Trump and the DOJ needs to get serious and crack down on this. Enough is enough. They
Yeah.
have crossed lines in all sorts of ways. They've had to shut down entire hotels because these yahoos sit out there 24/7. Staff don't feel safe coming to work. Staff are being doxxed for working in a hotel that's housing ICE. They literally had to shut down entire hotels because of these yahoos. They have long far past the threshold of a peaceful protest and gone into harassment, assault, threatening, menacing, terroristic behavior.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is
We live in a messed up world.
we do, and here's the thing: is it gets better when we call the crazy crazy, and when we stand against it, when we pray for everyone involved, when we really do the work to make sure that we're not supporting any politicians at any level that is supporting this stuff. Midterms are coming. We don't have hard races here in Alabama, but you can. I want people to pay attention and make sure they're calling friends and family in those swing states and saying, you can't sit this one out. There is no sitting this one out. You've got to go and you've got to make a difference because the midterms matter that much.
Well, excellent, May. It's been good having you to fill in.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed being here.
Well, you're better than the guy that they had when he was off last time. I don't know who that was.
Carrie's shaking his head. I don't know who that
He
was
knows who
either,
I'm
but I'm
talking
glad to be
about.
here.
Well, all right.
Well, thank you, darling.
You
All
have
right.
a good one.
Thank you. You too. All right. We are going to go to our final break of this show, and then I have to give I have to pass things back. Andrew's back tomorrow. You have to tell him, Carrie. You have to tell him that the bar has been set. He has to bring you snacks at least twice a week now.
I'm gonna tell him not to come in. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
I live very close to here. Yeah, I tell Valerie all the time. The one time he had a dental emergency, and she's like, "I hate to call you last minute," and I'm like, "Please do anytime. Call me last minute." There is very few things I'm doing that's more important than coming in and talking to you fine folks. All right, back in a second, you guys. April Marie here. You can find me on X, APRYLMARIE. I'm on Facebook, but don't add me there. I so rarely post. I'm really a boring Facebook person. All right, hold tight. Back in a second. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone except the yahoos who thinks it's okay to interrupt a church service. To you, no good afternoon. I hope every day this week is a Monday morning for you. All day, every day, Mondays. That's what you get. Go find yourself a church, get down on your knees, and find Jesus. That's what you need. That's really what these people need, for the love. I'm going to get out there today and I'm going to go protest against ICE. I like the rapists and murderers in my city. That's who I am. Like, what are you? Who does this? Who thinks this way? What in the world? Yeah, it's frustrating. All right, we had a caller online. We lost him. Let's see. We've got, I mentioned earlier, we've been talking a lot about the ICE stuff. That just ticks me off. Talked some about legislative session. One other thing that is important to note about legislative session. So they actually have to be in session for 30 days. But they usually stretch that out over months. They have committee meetings. They're not actually in session. It's a election year. It's the fourth year. They're gonna expecting to fast track this one. So it's going to be very fast. Here's the downside of that. Okay, I always say one of the greatest threats is when they're in session because you never know what they're going to do. In the name of crime prevention, pass some ridiculous anti-Second Amendment bill. They will pass ridiculous things that put burdens on businesses or schools or whatever it is. So you've really got to watch what they're doing. But what is really important is during these fast sessions, and I'm plugging 1819 News here, but wherever you get your news, I'm going to encourage you to get there because it's the best place. Just watch, because they'll try to put sneaky stuff in, gambling at the last minute, loosening the regulations on this, that, or the other at the last minute, crazy amendments on bills that were otherwise good bills. That's what happens in Montgomery. It's the shenanigans. Shenanigans, I call it. Talked about the K-12. One thing I'm going to be writing about later this week is this charter school commission. There is, we had Alan Mendenhall on to start the program. If you missed that in the first hour, go back and listen to it on the podcast. Alan Mendenhall he's a great guy. Was on the textbook review committee, goes through and does all of his textbook stuff, then starts poking the bear, talking about what Regions Bank is doing and really investigating and uncovering some of their woke DEI nonsense, and ends up getting his appointment rescinded. Do you know who hasn't gotten their appointments rescinded? I'll tell you who. That's the charter school commissioners who thinks that the Magic City Acceptance Academy, right around the corner from us, is a good school and gave them a 5-year renewal. You know who needs their charter school commission appointments rescinded? Every Yahoo who voted for that. Do you know why? Because it doesn't take someone really tuned into education to know that drag queens don't belong in classrooms. Doesn't take the most genius mind to know that schools should bring in as a guest lecturer somebody who thinks everything about American history, from our founding fathers seeking our independence to literally, he went on to like rant about, I think it was a she actually. She was, the author was a queer identified individual, which just means crazy, if you ask me. But she went on to talk about how terrible the traditional family is, how bad the, Christian values are against the founding fathers, all of the DEI nonsense, all packed into one book. And this author was brought into Magic City Acceptance Academy to teach a writing class. What? A guy who pioneered gender clinics so that we can medicate and mutilate children, brought into MCAA. And yet the Charter School Commission let them stay open. Didn't discuss all the negative stuff, really gave them a pass. When they were lied to straight to their face, they were like, oh, okay, we just buy what you're selling. Evidence be darned. So I'm going to really be talking about these charter school commission appointments and trying to get that law changed so that they can rescind them now. They're making excuses, the lawmakers are. Who are these lawmakers? Well, we've got Kay Ivey. We've got Will Ainsworth. He's actually got some conservative people, although his conservative appointee, the one that showed up to that meeting, did not speak out against what MCAA was doing. You've got the Speaker Ledbetter, and you've got Garland Gudger. who had the appointments made before he got there. They have the responsibility of making sure that our charter school commission has individuals on it that are actually serving our kids. They have not been doing a good job of that. They need to be recalled and replaced with conservative education champions who are going to champion not just school choice and good quality schools, helping them thrive, but also common sense and common decency. Our students deserve that, and taxpayers deserve for their money to be used in a way that is not promoting all of this not absolute nonsense at a public school. All right, so we talked about that. We've got the education, the college bill that is coming up to fix our college education school programs. We've got University of Alabama saying they're going to get rid of. We've got legislation there to get rid of. I'm now summarizing all of the things I've covered in the last 5 days. We've got University of Alabama. There's legislation to get rid of the School of Social Work as a standalone program. It would allow that program to go under a different, and quite honestly, non-woke college. That's a added benefit of doing away with the way the legislation is currently written, the law is currently written for that program. There's a lot of things to pay attention to. I still think our lawmakers need to take up something with criminal justice reform. If you haven't heard of the case where the absolute disgusting creep, horrible human being man was charged with raping a 77-year-old woman in her house. He pled guilty. I'm going to say this again. Pled guilty. Got a 20-year sentence or 25 years with a 20-year suspended sentence. Will be out in less than 5 years with time served already. We got to fix this. How many times have we seen, and this guy was also suspected or DNA evidence and fingerprint evidence put him on the crime scenes for a number of burglaries and robberies. How many times have we seen people with rap sheets as long as our arm out and their crimes escalate and escalate and escalate? And we've got Democrat judges right here in central Alabama giving people slaps on the wrist. We saw this not too long ago with the Leeds arrest, where the guy had a number of previous charges against him. And these judges are doing nothing about it. We have got to do better than this. We have got to put public safety first. And these bleeding heart liberals who, and it's not even that they're bleeding heart. I call myself a bleeding heart Republican. These clueless, tone deaf liberals giving these slaps on the wrist, that needs to be changed and addressed in our legislative session. It'll also be interesting to see the governor and what she does with the opening on the Pardon and Parole Board. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going through, Carrie, I'm going through all of the things. Let's see, what else have we learned? We learned that Snickerdoodle cookies are a favorite for AJ and Carrie from my
Yes.
hometown bakery.
I would agree. Those are pretty good.
It was pretty good. Did you like the other pastries?
I did. I liked them all.
Yeah. I'm going to see, Mondays are the worst for that because they're closed on Mondays, so I can't bring fresh food. But next time, maybe I'll bring in some croissants or something.
I need to tell Andrew to take a couple of days off so I can get some pastries and some cookies.
Some additional pastries and cookies. No, it's been really fun. If you missed my interview with the chief of police of Homewood Police Department, they've got the Citizens Police Academy that kicked back up within the last several weeks. Those are all over the state, okay? So if you're looking for a way to get involved in your community, just to find out more, volunteer, get to know those patrolling your area, I want to encourage you to look at those programs. You know, it's really easy to look at the TV, the national stories and headlines. What's going on in Iran? What's going on in Minnesota? What's going on in Virginia? Because they've got a hot mess of a situation in Virginia. If you haven't watched what the governor's been doing in Virginia, she's now getting rid of qualified immunity for law enforcement officers in a state where they don't support their law enforcement officers. She's starting to undo some of the conservative things that have been done in that state. So that one's we're going to see more and more headlines coming out of there. But it's really, we can look at those things. We can talk about them all day. You can listen. We can, we can hit all of the national stuff. But really what I want you guys to pay attention to, if you take nothing away from my time filling in with Andrew, is not just state issues that matter, but local issues that matter. If you do not know who your mayor and city council members are, this is the time when the mayors are about to do those, have been doing and are about to do those state of the city addresses for you to tune in and pay attention, okay? Those municipal races matter. We just had municipal races last year. They matter so much more than we give them credit for. Who's on your city council? Those things matter for your planning and zoning, for your infrastructure, for your public safety, all of those things, guys. Love to say these national issues that suck up all the time, all the attention, they matter because it's the direction our country's taking. You can't impact with great with a great pressure what's happening there, but you can do something right here in our community, and I want to encourage you to do it. Okay, tune into 1819 News. Sign up for our morning newsletter if you want to follow what I'm doing throughout this session. Follow me on X, APRYLMARIE, and stay tuned for Leland Live with Leland and AJ, and then Breaking Bread after that. It has been my pleasure to fill in with you guys. Thank you, Carrie, for keeping me out of trouble.
It's been my pleasure. This was fun.
All right, till next time, stay out of trouble.